luck. We're gonna. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cincinnati Gardens for this epic event between the Cincinnati Violent Lambs and the Twin City Evil Twins. Pardon me, the Twin City Dead Ringers. Oh boy, I'm off to a great start already, guys. I can't wait to see how the rest of the evening unfolds. Alongside me is Tank and Dave F. and Powell. Gentlemen, please.
What's up, guys?
Help me out.
Well, Dave, it's another night of exciting roller derby action here in the Gardens as we see two WFTDA teams taking on each other right here in the Queen City.
Yes, it should be noted that tonight's theme is Star Wars night, and as a tradition for the Cincinnati Gardens is the derby action gets hotter, as well as the inside of this place gets hotter as well. So it's a very traditional 80 degrees here at the bout this evening.
I feel like these girls are going to be skating in Dagobah tonight as it is swampy inside of the Cincinnati Gardens.
So one thing we want to note is Nick of Time is absent from the booth tonight. Nick, we want to wish you well with everything and can't wait to see you next home game. Filling in for us is Tank, and we asked Tank to put about 30 to 40,000 Star Wars references in his brain, and he said that was no problem because he had about 60 on cue.
I don't think we should make this into a drinking game because if we do that at some point, someone might die.
Yeah, it could very well be.
You're all the way up to 3 already.
Well, guys, let's talk about it right now. The Sheep are 2-2 on the season. Good news, bad news. Good news, well, actually, start with the bad. Bad news, they're on a 2-game home losing streak. Good news, they won their last game on the road by 299 points, the most they've ever won in their entire life. Dave, thoughts going into this game? What are you seeing so far in the season?
Well, what we're also seeing out of the Violent Lambs this year is they're going for a perfect season as well. And they, we've gotten to a point where we're like, yeah, it's a broken record. We're pretty much been repeating ourselves, but this team is stacked, and we see them keep doing what they need to be doing out there. And then for the Black Sheep, what we're really looking for is them to keep developing what they've been developing with their defense on both sides, as well as with their emergency leaders, and then just their jammers quit track cutting.
Absolutely.
It's simply that simple.
You know, one quick point I wanted to make is that despite the roster turnover between people being called up and brought down, it really made no detrimental effect to the Lambs because they've kept that jamming core so solid and so deep. But listen, we're going to get into this a little bit more detail, but first we want to help out the folks that are new to this game. Perhaps you're tuning into Star Wars Night for the first time ever, and you want to check it out, and you don't really know what's going on with the rules of roller derby. This is for you. Take it away, boys.
The basics of flat track roller derby. Brought to you by Antic Skate Boots and the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. The game of roller derby is played on roller skates. The players wear helmets, elbow pads, wrist guards, and knee pads. The track is flat, not banked. Each 30-minute half is broken down into shifts called jams. The group of 8 players at the front is called the pack. The pack is made of players who play the position of blocker. Behind the pack are the jammers. The jammers are the skaters who score points and are marked by a large star on their helmet. When the whistle blows, the jammers try to skate their way through the pack and out the other side. But they will be met with the hips, rear, and shoulders of the opposing team's blockers. When two bodies make contact on the track, this is called a block. Once the jammers have skated their way through the pack the first time, they're ready to begin scoring. They earn a point every time they legally pass a member of the opposing team. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The jammers will fail to earn points if they pass the opposing blockers illegally. Any player who performs an illegal action will earn a penalty. So what's illegal? Elbows, tripping, back blocking, and passing out of bounds. Any player who receives a major penalty has earned a 30-second trip to the penalty box. The jam ends when the lead jammer places her hands on her hips, or when 2 minutes has elapsed. 30 seconds later, a new jam begins, and the whole thing starts again.
In the parking lot, at least.
Okay, well, I hope you found that educational and enlightening, and a little wiser in the ways of roller derby because of that video. We want to thank WFTDA for providing that, and I want to thank Tom and Chi for making the video stream happen. I want to thank ICRC-TV for making this whole production happen. So I got the first of many sponsors down, and Dave, you got the rest of them, right?
Yes, I got him for the
Okay,
rest of the
great.
night.
Excellent. All right, so what we were talking about was the undefeated Violent Lambs looking to maintain that undefeated record, and they're going to be doing that so against the Dead Ringers here at the Twin Cities. And of course, it's Star Wars night. We were talking about the jamming core, the depth that it has. What I'm really taken by with this specific Lambs team of 2015 is just this nice meld of veteran leadership and youth. And it's really, Quad's done a nice job of kind of stirring the pot perfectly and kind of bringing all of their talents to the top of their game. And really looking forward to seeing that continue within these last two home games.
Yeah, I think there is a really nice mix here. You're saying the veteran players and the younger players that are coming together on the squad. We talked a little bit about Jammer Corps. I'm thinking younger players. I'm thinking VC, number 96. Really loving what this woman's bringing out there on the track. You could hit her with a car, and she's going to get up and still get through the pack. Very few people have I seen skate with this level of just, I don't care. I don't care if you hit me. I don't care if you wall me. I don't care what you do. I'm getting through. Just a high level of tenacity and no quit in her. A big-time motor, can go all day. Loving what I'm seeing out of VC.
One thing we noticed with the Violent Lambs in their last bout was the other team got out to a quick lead, and there was no panic in the team whatsoever. They were down by 40 early. They stuck exactly to their game plan, and it came back on them, and finally got to a point where we were at a very important jam. Hot Slice was able to go out there. Her pack did exactly what they needed to do, and she had the big jam to take us to the win.
All right, boys, I think we are ready for introductions, so let's throw it over to Roy for the live feed.
Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the historic Cincinnati Gardens. This icon of Cincinnati sports will be the backdrop for today's epic battle between the Twin City Dead Ringers and your Cincinnati Violent Lambs. Are you ready for some derby? First introducing Twin City Dead Ringers. Number 1104, Betty Rocker. Number 28, Nikita. Number 3, Lisa Hatchett. Number 312, Bobby Schatz. Number 316, Holy Steve Number 41, Brass Monkey. Number 67, Natty Slice. Number 8, Polly Nader. Number 9, Therapist. Number M7, Hooshbag. And now, accompanying the Cincinnati Violent Lambs and your own Wooly Bully, the members of Star Wars! Ladies and gentlemen, number 0, Cherry Joe. Number 14, Genocide. Number 2, Sister Number 22, Cincy Psycho. Number 23, Ay Caramba. Number 27, Pape Chulo. Number 34, Jillian Dollars. Number 5, Ruthless Chris. Number 533, Royalty. Number 69, Sconna Hurt. Number 71, Hot Slice. Number 72, Big Ugly. Number 91, Annie Tomical. And number 96, VC, your Cincinnati Violent Lambs. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise take off your hats and join Sean Meddy in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And there you have it, boys, a stirring rendition of our Star-Spangled Banner, and the skaters take to the floor. It looks like all of them. This is going to be one heck of a pack. Tank and Dave, we got every darn skater out there.
Who do you try to stop from jamming?
I got it.
All right, everybody, make sure you have your R2 units firmly strapped into your X-Wing because we're about to have a bumpy ride as we get ready for the first jam of the night between the Lambs and the Dead Ringers. Out there on the line for the Lambs going to be Ruthless Chris, number 5, taking on number 35, Jamawaki.
This first jam is brought to you by Southpaw Prince.
All right, boys, on the line for in terms of the blocking core, we got, looks like we have number 14, Genocide, number 23, I Carumba, number 69, Skunna Hurt, and number 22, Cincy Psycho.
Cincinnati taking the back line to start out with. Their bench closest to that line, able to get out there and hold it down. Let's see what they can do with this. Usually the team that has the back line gives you a little bit of advantage because you're creating that first wall, and therefore you can hold back the other team's jammer.
What usually Ruthless Chris does as the pack is right in front of her, she's very patient within the pack. She usually tries her best to stay in the center, but she usually tries to treat on the inside lane.
So all movement to the inside now. Twin Cities bopping to the outside now, working their way mid. Tank, it looks like Ruthless Chris is making some headway up front on the inside.
She's working her way through. Chris is excellent in one-on-one situations. Trying to get through that. Whoa, slides through on the inside line with a little pirouette.
And that is a trademark move of Ruthless Chris. It's a move that she's really perfected, Dave, within this 2015 season.
And you notice Jamawaki is really struggling there in the first turn. She's trying to go inside, she's trying to go outside, and the blocking wall is not letting her go around. And Ruthless Chris is 5 points right there.
One last line of defense. That Cincy Psycho knocking her, Twin Cities jammer to her knees, but they do have to let her go through initial pass. So it looks like Ruthless Chris Tank is going to make one more scoring pass and then call it.
She is. She's coming around now again. Now looking for middle. Entryway getting cleared right there by Cincy Psycho.
And she called it just in time, right when Jamawaki got to the pack. 0 points awarded to Jamawaki.
All right, so in the early going, gentlemen, 8-0 for the Violent Lambs.
We've got VC out there for the Violent Lambs, and looks like Bobby Shots out there for the Dead Ringers.
Yeah, VC, Tank, you mentioned her earlier, really emerging as just a not only dominant skater, but just a fun skater to watch.
So much fun.
And all of that fun is brought to you by NovaCare Rehabilitation.
This guy's the best over here.
They're bumping her. Let's see what she can do. VC running up against her right now. Bobby Shots now up to the front wall. Cincinnati countering her with 3 to beat. Inside line, VC.
That is what she did last bout, was right when you think you've got her contained and you try to out-physical, she just jumps out of the pack.
Yeah.
One to beat Jillian Dollars, and she is not beaten. Jillian knocks her to the inside and goes all the way back. Nice move by the blocker for Cincinnati.
Yeah, you're going to have to put multiple bodies on VC. Just bumping her's not going to get it done. I even in a 2-on-1 situation, I still feel like she has the advantage.
Ooh, a star pass, Dave.
I didn't see the call, but Hushbag to the box for the Dead Ringers.
Well, we do have a star pass there. It's
41?
recipient is number 41, Brass Monkey, and but all for naught as VC calls off the jam. And the shutout continues into jam number 3 as the Violent Lambs enjoy a 13-0 lead.
Looks like that's Natty Slice out there for the Dead Ringers, and Royalty taking the Jammer star for the first time this evening.
Now, this is a very intriguing skater. This is one that we really haven't seen a whole lot of in this season, in this home season at least. However, I'm hearing lots of really positive things about her jamming ability, and I can't wait to see what she does.
Well, she's on the big stage to see what she has. Royalty now inside, outside. Really quick lateral movement right there. Able to eat the walls and keep moving forward.
Oh, Genocide nearly incurred a block, but in the meantime, Royalty gets lead jammer status, Dave.
And that lead jammer status is brought to you by UC Sports Medicine. One thing, I was talking with a few of the skaters, and they're actually very excited as Big Ugly goes to the box for the Lambs, is Royalty getting to skate and getting rostered. They've been watching her in practice. She's another exciting skater, and in her first jam, we were seeing why she's an exciting skater.
Well, number 67, Natty Slice, does clear the pack on her initial pass, but Royalty is making points at this point. She decides to call it off before Natty Slice is able to draw any of her own, and just in the nick of time there, Tank.
I like Royalty's quick feet, man. She really is moving out there in that jammer position, not just getting stuck with just a straight line. Even when she does get bumped out, you see her chopping at the bit, getting right back in. Let's see a replay of this.
Dave, why don't you take us through this?
All right, so yeah, this is where Royalty just makes a blocker miss and goes right through, and the other blocker is obviously useless right there because she can't do anything to her at that moment.
All right, Ruthless Chris again on the line for Cincinnati, number 35, Jay Milwaukee on the line for Twin Cities.
Milwaukee's stuck right now. Ain't having any luck against that black wall on the inside. Chris got bumped to the back end, having her own trouble with that wall, though, trying to work her way through. Whistle's getting blown right here. Milwaukee might pop out. No, Chris out first. Milwaukee gonna get lead jammer.
It was and it wasn't, and then it was again.
Yep.
It looked like either one of those skaters could get lead jammer at that time. Big Ugly is back out there for the Violent Lambs.
So Ringer's having the advantage here with lead jammer status. Oh, and big time advantages. Ruthless Chris is being called to the box on a track cut, Tank.
That's what the Ringers need right now. Get it so that they only have to play offense, try to score some points, and get back into this thing because they're down 20-0 right now.
And Cincy Psycho apparently wanted to join Ruthless Chris in the box as she goes to there as well.
All right, so we're going to see a lot of slow-go roller derby at this point as the Dead Ringers have no interest in making this pack move one iota as their jammer has all the advantage. Now they're coming in for a little offensive blocking, but Scunna hurt and meets her at the outside line and compels a call-off, Tank.
I like Scunna, young player, but man, she has all the great physical assets you need out there to be a dominant player.
One thing with Scunna is she's young, but she is so strong because she is so tall. And then
Like a
obviously,
bull.
Exactly. And being taught by Joanna everything that she knows, you know she's going to be fundamentally sound out there and get the most out of her strength. They also called off that jam, so then Ruthless Chris had to stay in the box to start this one off.
So the pack for Cincinnati is eyeing the challenge here. Looks like a little break in an official timeout, it looks like, is being ruled as Cherry Choke, Poppy Chulo, and Anatomical were kind of set to form that triangle. It's kind of a nice defensive mechanism in which when one of the blockers is in the box.
Well, that's what you got to do right now. You don't have a jammer out there. Strictly defense is the way to think. Bobby Schatz on the line. 20-5 is the score.
Well, you say that, Tank, but lo and behold, just like a Jedi mind trick. I'm not good at this stuff, guys. You're gonna have to pull all the heavy
That was
lifting for
not
this.
the call we were looking for.
There
But as
you
we
go.
made that note,
worked,
Ruthless Chris was starting that jam off in the box, and now she's out there back on the line, so it changes the strategy for the Violent Lambs.
And indeed it does. So the aforementioned blocking crew dead set on stopping Bobby Schatz. Ruthless Chris having some issues on her own through Apex 1, Tank. Oh, she squirts through, Tank, and she is your lead jammer.
She does. And this is where Ruthless Chris is dangerous. She can build up a head of steam, and she can start getting around these blockers. You can see a lot of points go up on the board.
Outside lane is clear. Ruthless Chris is through for 5, Dave.
Yeah, you noticed everyone followed the inside jammer for the dead ringers.
Oh, no, a lightsaber came onto the floor. It was an itty-bitty lightsaber. It's kind of a fallacy of a lightsaber, if you will, but and they're still having trouble picking it up. There we go. Now it's on, and it's through. And unfortunately, the tank that...
You just can't be throwing lightsabers. I mean, that's a dangerous space weapon. I mean, it could take a man's arm off.
No, it's only Jedi were supposed to be able to use it. The only time you ever saw non-Jedi use it was Han Solo on the Tauntaun.
Well, I mean, would you catch a butcher knife that was going across the track? I mean, it's made out of like space age plasma.
Space age plasma from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
All right, so back to reality, folks. VC is powering her way through. She is your lead jammer. In the meantime, Twin Cities blockers being pushed to the box for an out-of-play penalty. Number 67, Natty Slice is through her initial pass, but easy does it as VC gets through, calls it without 4 points to the Violet Lambs with 0 points for the Dead Ringers.
VC rolling up in your neighborhood, making all your blockers miss right there.
All those blockers missing is brought to you by C&D Northside's Neighborhood Bar.
You know, and you made a point a little earlier, Tank, in that the way she absorbs contact. And it's really strange because she's tall,
yeah,
but she doesn't have a ton of meat on her bones, but she just seems to absorb and deflect the contact, and almost in a judo sense, for whatever reason, the people that are hitting her usually get the bad end of the deal. Tank's nodding, so I know.
I'm in total agreement. I don't know. I mean, maybe she's made out of some kind of polycarbonate. I don't know.
Hey.
Royalty gets lead jammer for the Lambs, while Jamiroquai is struggling in the back of the pack right now. That blocking core is really keeping her on the inside, and this was going to lead Royalty to go to the outside. This is what you've been seeing Ruthless Chris do, and this is what you've also been seeing BC do, is while everyone's focused on the other jammer for the Dead Ringers, our jammer is able to score, just sneak around and get 5 points.
Yeah.
Oh, nice dexterity by Royalty. She did take a stumble, but she's up quickly, and she's through for 5 points.
Good recovery there by Terrafist right there. You know, Terrafist went down, but then she got back up, got back into it, and was able to try to hold her back for a second.
All right, so the big green wall up now. So this is the best test in this scoring pass for Royalty. She's kind of working her way in the middle, gets pinched to the outside, Dave, resets.
Yeah, Royalty is pretty much the blocking core for the Violent Lambs. We're just going to let her go out there and take it by herself, and she's able to, and they finally have to go after her with no pack, and she's able to get 5 more points. Jamiroquai is released out of the box.
The Ringers have to start gluing these walls together. It's going to be a long night for them. They cannot get in the one-on-one situation since Cincinnati's jammers. They just cannot do it.
Well, Tank, what you noticed there is it looked like they were about to knock Royalty out. And kind of like what Jazz does, she keeps her skates in and is able just to then spin around and not have to go back and cycle through the pack.
Indeed, in this blocking core. So there was a star pass going. That's why they're going after the pivot, number 3, because she has the star panty in her hand. She hasn't placed it on her head yet, but that doesn't really matter. She's still the jammer of record.
And that is Lisa Hatcher.
And Hatchet, it will mystically boom from pivot to jammer in a fail swoop of a hat.
All right.
So after our first 10 minutes, we have the Violent Lambs at 49 and the Dead Ringers at 5.
Let's take a look at the replay as the score update is 54-5. And we see Jazz working her way to the outside there, deflecting a nice little, you know, and that actually reminds, you were mentioning Jazz Hubbard. That kind of reminded me of Ruthless Chris right there, and that just that real stable, easy flowing pirouette, deflecting contact. And speaking of Ruthless Chris, she's back on the line, Dave.
Yes, and that's Bobby Shots that is jamming out there for the Dead Ringers.
Oh, Ruthless Chris is through pretty quickly there, Tank.
Good stuff there by Chris. Chris has really gotten down that ability to walk across people's backs to the point where she's not getting called for back blocking, but at the same time using that against them to stay up and then come through. There's an opening. And
we already had another star pass. This is to Brass Monkey, the pivot for the Dead Ringers.
They're going to that tactic early and often, as are the Twin Cities. Ruthless Chris gets her 4 points and calls it.
All right, this next jam brought to you by J. Arthur Shield and Associates. So we're already seeing the Dead Ringers there struggling a little bit, trying to get through the pack. So now they've gone to just passing the star to the pivot as a strategy.
We'll see if it bears fruit. You know, it's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, frankly, the star pass is it. By and by, it's I'm out of gas. Help me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sort of you know, and to see that 11 minutes deep in the first half might be a troubling sign for these Twin Cities.
Yeah, that is not a strategy I would hang my hat on as a permanent solution. But right now, they got something rolling right here. Subchild with the knockdown right there. Natty Slice back up, slice out the front end. Lead jammer going to the Twin City.
And that's something we don't often see, is both Shovechild and Hot Slice are in the jam, are blocking core for this jam. So two people that are usually jammers get to actually beat up a jammer.
And they are compelling the rest of their blockers to speed it up. They're channeling their inner jammer to keep this pace up, and rightfully so, because 0 points scored for either jammer on that scoring pass, Tank.
And that was because of the hustle of VC right there. VC hit the afterburners and snuck up on Natty Slice. Slice had to call it off because she was just too close for comfort.
That was a really interesting blocking core. I mean, you had Anatomical, you had Sister Shovechild, you had VC, and you had Hot Slice.
Well, you had VC jamming, but then you had Big Ugly.
I'm sorry,
well.
exactly.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Ugly as the other blocker. So you know, all 5 skaters, very, very good jammers
And it was
in their
a
own right.
very good strategy of, yes, speed it up and then let VC catch up, and they had to call it off. This is now Royalty back out there for the Violent Lambs and Jamiroquai.
Wow.
T eats one. It's going to slow her down a little bit. Now looking outside to get through.
And she ate it, but
I
she
like-
digested it quickly because she was no worse for the wear coming out of turn 2.
That's right.
And that's one thing we've seen out of the jammers for the Violent Lambs a lot this year is the fact they're able to take a hit. Unfortunately, we could see that developing a track cut by Royalty.
She's almost like a human Sarlacc pit where she can just eat whatever and just keep going. And right now she's going to the box.
Oh, man.
That Star Wars reference brought to you by the Northside Collective, Spun Bicycles, Bill's Barbershop, and Northside Surplus.
All right, so this is the first real challenge that the Lambs have seen thus far, as the Dead Ringers put up double digits on the scoreboard for the first time.
Hooshbag getting it done, and
She sure
Hooshbag's
is.
making it happen. Yeah, this is the lady I would be giving the star to if I was Twin City.
And I wouldn't worry about any passing, despite any initial pass, troubles that come along. You just got to stay with your jammer. And boy, she is very fluid to the outside. I like the way, Tank, how she drops her shoulders, and she's very elusive and avoids getting that direct contact. Oh boy, another track cut going to the going to
That's inexperience right there. That's where you're seeing it. Where
Absolutely.
Getting out there for the first time, the big city, the bright lights.
And we'll see how Royalty responds to this. This has happened to every single jammer who has ever donned a uniform, at least with Cincinnati, and presumably any roller derby team. And you just get that, you're in, you go to the box, you try to come out and do something, and then try maybe to do too much, and then boom, you're right there again. Will it be a domino effect, or will they be able to right the ship somewhere in the penalty box? It remains to be seen.
But that was another 19-point jam right there. I guess I shouldn't say another, but that was a 19-point jam right there because of the jam
big.
that was in the box so often.
So they effectively tripled the score in one jam. So all of a sudden, the Dead Ringers got themselves a game.
I think this is a good game for Royalty to be in, though, coming out here for the first time in the bright lights of the Cincinnati Gardens, where, the defense is there to give her that helping hand. She just needs to calm down, shot a little bit, come back out and just do her thing. And, let that jam be the last jam and not dwell on it.
Oh, what a beautiful wall right now by Big Ugly. Icaranda. It's going to hurt. She was able to work through it, but they delayed her a lot. And unfortunately, we've got Royalty going back to the box again. We've actually got both jammers going to the box.
Everybody going to the box. Bobby Shot's going for a forearm. Royalty going in for as well. Both now coming back out.
So this abbreviated trip to the box brought to you by Tom and Chi, official providers of the live stream, ICRC-TV, bringing this whole shebang to you.
That was beautiful, Marty. I loved it.
Hey, I learned from the best. That's you, Dave.
Bobby through.
At this point, Tank and Dave, Royalty just needs to keep her nose clean. She cannot afford to go to the box anymore at this point in time. if she hopes to remain a viable part of this jamming corps.
It's like when you're dealing with your parole officer. You just got to nod your head and say yes and just be cool about it.
And once again, we see another star pass by the Dead Ringers, but unfortunately she wasn't able to get out of the pack. Great job of Big Ugly and Sissy Psycho of recycling and keeping her in the pack.
So props to Royal T for keeping her nose clean on that one, and is good for 5 points. She comes through around, no doubt those penalties are in mind, but she needs to stay aggressive, Tank.
Yeah, and again, the Dead Ringers have passed the star to their pivot, who's now trying to work her way through. Oh, big hit by Ugly.
Big Ugly just kind of skating backwards, eyeing her new jammer opponent.
Yeah. Hatchet doesn't have the star on her helmet yet, but she's got it in her hands.
That pretty much looked like Big Ugly was an AT-AT walker right there, and she's too strong. Her shielding's too strong for lasers alone.
Ooh, it's true.
Royal T now making quick work of that pack, going through for yet another 5 points. So 15 points to her credit. What a way to respond. What a way to bounce back from 3 consecutive trips to the box by putting 3 5-point scoring passes together. It sort of softened things and gives you a little more to talk to Claude about when you walk to the bench.
Now, I've got a question for you, Marty. Something like that, where it is usually it was a track cut that was landing her in the box. As a skater, do you then try to focus on staying more just to the center of the track, or is it just trust your instincts?
Well, it's a combination of the two, but I believe in this day and age of roller derby that if you are a strong skater, staying right to the middle, and I don't care if they know exactly what you're doing, if you are able to move the pack in front of you and move your skates, staying in the middle of the track, it seems to reap more benefits than trying to be cute on the outside or inside. So, but then again, if there's a gaping hole on set, outside or inside, you take it. You let your instincts, you don't let your jamming situation, or pardon me, your penalty situation determine what sort of instincts you throw out there. But I do believe that slow and steady down the middle is the recipe for success for jamming in this day and age of roller derby.
Definitely a risk-reward system right there. Normally stand in the middle, but hey, if the inside lane's open or the outside lane's got a hole, take it, get around, do what you can. But you got to be cognizant of where those out-of-bounds lines are and where your feet are ending up.
All right, on the line for Cincinnati is Ruthless Chris. Providing support is number 91, Annie Tomical, number 0, Cherry Choke. The pivot looks like number 71, Hot Slice, and we got there in the middle. I can't see it now because number 67, Natty Slice, is obscuring my vision. Oh, it's Sister Shubchild, number 2.
All right, this jam brought to you by Northside Tavern, the Comet, and Sidewinder Coffee, while the Ruthless Chris gets lead jammer status.
Chris making it look so darn easy out there as Cherry and Hot Slice Annie Tomical and Sister Shubchild trying to thwart the momentum of Natty Slice, unable to do so. They all sort of converge back now, Tank, and work on some offense. Nice block by Annie Tomical, freeing up the inside line, and that's good for 4 points.
Slice had a lot of fight in her right there that time, really bouncing off blockers, trying to get something open, but Ruthless just, was just too far ahead. By the time she did get out, it was up and over.
And we saw that developing of Annie setting up that block right there. It was textbook. It was great seeing them see it form as well.
More often than not, the criticism that I'm seeing from folks that are average fans saying, why is there no offense being played? And the quick answer is sometimes when you provide offense, you speed up the pack, and then that actually hurts your jammer. But boy, that was a great example. Annie Tomical knowing having the awareness of the situation, Tank, and let me throw it to you.
VC right now is going against jammers, actually bumping them into each other, knocking blockers over so they're tripping over each other. Inside line opens up though, and that's going to be jammer walking, getting through, but VC right on her tail. Let's see if VC's got enough in the tank to chase her down.
I think she's going to close this gap a little bit. Boy, look at those arms, that fluid skating motion, Dave.
Yeah, and Quad instantly saw what was going on, told all of his blockers to speed up.
Cincy Psycho doing a nice job. Oh boy, and very nice job by the pack, dictating that pack speed, Tank, and really making the Twin Cities jammer call up that jam.
Great speed of everybody involved there on the lambs, and just VC, I mean, when she is behind, she just kicks it into that 5th gear, and she looks like a pterodactyl just coming in from behind to go eat a big tasty meal, and she just chases down her prey.
All right, so we've gone about 3 to 4 minutes without a Star Wars reference. I think.
Oh, I was about to correct that.
Okay, good.
Pretty much what we saw VC do is she was an X-Wing, and you saw her split her wings and get into battle mode.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, so
That's what happened.
number 312, Bobby Shots on the line for the Twin City Dead Ringers, but not before the jammer for. Oh my goodness gracious me! Royalty is completely cleared all the cobwebs from that that rough jam that she had a little while back. Now she's coming through, easily scoring points. She's got 4 points, and after a few strides, Tank, that might be 5 points as she passes the jammer.
Yeah, but Hooshbag now's got got the star on her helmet again, and Hooshbag's had some success with that star on her helmet.
Oh, nice move to the inside.
Man, the most Isley Cantina soundtrack must be playing on Royalty's head because she has dancing feet out there.
Well, Hooshbag was so concentrated on the Violent Lambs jammer that she sort of lost awareness of where she was within her own as she was approaching the pack, and
she actually almost seemed to soften up the pack a little bit, and then Royalty hit it immediately.
Absolutely.
VC can do the same thing. If you leave just a little bit of a gap, they can just plow right through it.
So Royalty having a little issue at this point on her second scoring pass as her big green wall is emerging. However, she gets low, she gets inside Tank, and she is through for 4 points.
Quad was trying to get her to call it off right there, but then Hooshbag came back in. Now Quad's telling her to get the 4 and get out.
That's right. And who knows, she might even be able to spring a 5th, although Hooshbag is through. So I think 4 more at this point, and that's all she wrote on this jam, boys. Looks like we have a 96 to 35 lead for the Violent Lambs over the Dead Ringers. Dave, let's take a look at the replay.
All right, so coming up here on this last jam, this is when both jammers are coming up to the pack. You can see Hooshbag is more concerned, obviously, with Royalty. Royalty stops and then just goes right through the center there, and inside lane is cleared out for her.
She almost got blocked. Yeah, she looks like she got blocked by her own blockers there.
That was actually the most resistance she got was from her own pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Natty Slice in the green with the star, going up against Ruthless Chris in the black. Slice on the inside, now walled in there, anatomical skating backwards to anchor down the inside line.
A lot of contact in this pack as both jammers are trying to achieve a little bit of momentum. Ruthless Chris is through first. She's your lead jammer, Dave.
Yes, and this jam is brought to you by a place that has never been filled with such scum and villainy, Matry, the site of the after party.
Oh, that was a Star Wars reference, wasn't it?
Yep, that was it.
Yep.
Oh, nice job by Sister Shovechild as the last line of defense, knocking Natty Slice to the inside. Ruthless Chris is good for 5 more, Tank.
A skating backwards, Papachulo right there tried to gore Natty Slice. Slice now going back into the pack behind Cherry Choke. Ruthless Chris again through on a scoring pass, meeting a wall of resistance on the back end of 4 green shirts.
Wow, this pack play is absolutely spectacular by the Violent Lambs as Ruthless Chris is through for yet another 5 points.
Ruthless just sidestepped on the inside there. I'm sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to cut you off. And then she just scooted right to the outside, all sidestepping her way through the pack.
Oh boy, Ruthless Chris making it look so darn easy as yet another star pass is going. Papi Chulo and Annie Tomico are having none of it, although they need to let her go as the pack thins out, Tank.
They do. Ruthless doing a great job of getting sideways here, and then boom to the outside.
Annie Tomico with a crazy good block to the inside, springing Chris. And, you know, it's one thing to throw a block, but it's another thing for the jammer to read the block, Dave, and act quickly on it and find that seam.
That actually did end anatomical in the box look like for a clockwise block. But you're right, it was very smart, and it freed up Ruthless Chris. It's like 4 points out there for the jammer for the Dead Ringers. That is Brass Monkey.
Brass Monkey on a nice one right there. The defense fell apart down the inside for Cincinnati, and Monkey was able to slide through on the inside and get points.
All right. So Cincinnati will be skating a blocker short, but not for long as Annie Tomical is standing up, which indicates, Tank, that she has less than 10 seconds to spend in the box.
10 seconds ain't that long. VC on the line going up against Jamiwaukee for Twin City.
That next 10 seconds is brought to you by Listing Loon and Tilly's Lounge.
So by and by, the Violent Lambs are able to dictate the pace and the scoring. Oh, as I say that, quickly out, the Twin Cities jammer is through for lead jammer. They had about 2 to 3 jams the Dead Ringers have where they've been able to capitalize on some mistakes by the Violent Lambs and put up some decent amount of points, but by and by, the story is the Violent Lambs.
You got to get bodies in front of jammers. You just can't do shoulder checks nowadays. People can eat those and go through. You got to get a body in front. You got to get a wall in front. You got to slow down jammers. And right there, Jammer Walkie was not able to be slowed. She ate that shoulder check on the inside line and boom, straight through lead jammer.
Caught a few of our blockers sleeping on that one a little bit.
Absolutely. And quickly calling a timeout is Quad Almighty for the Violent Lambs, looking to thwart any momentum achieved by the Dead Ringers.
Quad right now asking, so who do you think shot first? Was it Han?
Listen, of course Han shot first.
Yeah, well, I think that's obvious.
I mean, if anybody thinks Guido did, they're a darn fool.
That's true.
No.
Agreed. Dave?
Total revisionist history.
Thus concludes the beginning and ending of my Star Wars trivia acumen.
I'm still just in my head going, did he say Greedo or Guido?
Yeah, I think you did say Guido.
Did I? Oh my goodness. All right, well, I'm gonna get an angry letter from someone, I'm sure. Found a flaming bag of dog do at my front yard.
It's right.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Rebel Commander 937 at gmail.com is going to be very angry and typing into
Well,
you
you know
about
who's going
this.
to be the angriest?
Who's that?
Cherry Choke.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to hit me in the face with forever that one.
That's true.
All right.
All right, going out there for the Violent Lambs is Hot Slice. This is the first time taking the
That's
Jammer
true.
Star.
All right, 527. Okay. I'm just be like, yeah, the sound went down around here. I don't know what happened.
I'm hoping that we get to see a battle of the slices tonight. I'd like to see a Hot Slice versus Natty Slice jam. Like right now, we got a Hot Slice versus the Bobby Shots jam.
Whistle blows and either pack really moves for a split second. Hot Slice working on the inside. Gets Stappa is able to enter immediately. White Caramba is able to knock out their Jammer and bring her back through the pack.
Caramba now being in the middle on that wall right there with Scunna and Ugly.
What a just nasty wall Cincinnati is setting up. Hot Slice now working her way. Oh boy, did a little sweet move there. I wasn't sure if she went to the outside or not. Tank, oh, you got another star pass, don't we? Well, wait a minute. This is not the pivot that had the star.
Bobby Shot started out with the star. Now
Oh, and now she doesn't. Okay, she did the old, it's kind of like the play action fake.
And she was like, I'm going to pass it, but I'm not passing it. Now I'm putting it back on.
Yeah.
Some trickery being shown here. Multiplayer block getting called right now.
And this is the strength of Hot Slice. She's got a lot of torque, Dave. I tell you what, man. I've seen her move women twice her size that have maybe a line of 2 or 3 of them just lined up and in perfect position. Yet Hot Slice is able to find those soft spots and just keep moving, and making them look silly.
I remember growing up and playing tackle football with a kid named Don Potabom, and here's the thing. Very tiny guy, low center of gravity, impossible to get him down, and fast as heck. Hot Slice is very much similar to that.
Yep.
Who was that again you were playing with?
Don Potabom. It's a shout out to Don.
Potabom?
Potabom.
Potabom.
Yeah.
Right. So hi to Don, wherever he is.
He was all league in 2002.
I hope somebody watches that. Be like, Don, you wouldn't believe it. They totally dropped your name on this. On this roller derby.
Hot Slice background again. Oh, hits the Jets and is through. And that's the other thing Slice can do. Slice, you talk about the torque, let's talk about the speed.
Let's talk about it all. Very talented skater, a veteran. Good for mucho points. Dave, let's take us through the
so we're going to
replay.
show you a replay of that last jam with Hot Slice. And this is when she is in between turns 1 and 2, and she's kind of stuck there a little bit, and then she makes two blockers bigger than her fall, and then she just skates and speeds up past the other one.
Quick shoulders, quick hips. All right, Royalty on the line for Cincinnati, number 67. Oh, boy, wasting no time on that star pass.
Natty Slice directly passing straight to Polly Nader immediately on the line.
And that's not bearing fruit as of right now, as Royalty is through as lead jammer, coming through as the Twin Cities jammer is still stuck in the pack.
Well, and one thing you noticed there is you had two skaters that were worried about the star pass, and that freed up Royalty just to jump out there and get lead jammer sass immediately.
Very good insight, Dave. Thank you.
I mean, I'm trying to understand the strategy because, you know, we've talked about usually you see the star passes and people are gassed. Is the thought process here, you got to keep an eye on 2 skaters instead of just 1 jammer?
I guess they're just looking for that soft spot within the blockers of the opposing blockers. Boy, big collision there as Royalty goes down. She is going to the box for a back block, it appears. Oof, big hit there. Who's that?
That was Sister Shovechild.
Sister Shovechild? Oh, Sister Shovechild going to the box herself. So, Jammer Panty finally going on the head of number 8, Polly Nader.
Cherry's trying to bridge there a little bit to buy some time for Poppy, and Poppy finally has to let her go.
Got to talk to Polly Nader before the game, a Cincinnati area native originally from the Cove, and she was talking about how excited she is to be playing this game in the Garden. She's been looking forward to this game for 5 years now.
Is that right?
That's right.
Ah, the COV. Those are my stomping grounds these days, gentlemen.
They'll have her back, and instantly Royalty comes out of the box and gets 4 more points for the Violent Lambs.
Poppy Chulo, the last line of defense, needs to let her go.
Psycho did a great job there bridging and let Poppy delay her for a few more seconds.
Tee up and around. Sister Shovechild back in. Sister pops around. Tee to the outside. Inside goes Polly Nader.
All right, gentlemen, with less than a minute to go in this first period, the Violent Lambs are creeping towards a triple-digit advantage. Get a good look there of the
replay coming up here. Let's take a look at what we got.
This is when Jan saw, boom, you saw that right at the beginning. They're trying to pass, and Royalty just took advantage of the inside lane. Pretty much came out of there unscathed.
Yeah, and with all that action going on the outside, Dave, you're absolutely right. It's not fair for that lane 1 blocker to really be able to, essentially take over lanes 1 and 2 and, well, maybe even half of 3 on that. Royalty making quick work of that.
I've really been impressed with the Violent Lambs, how they've been mixing and matching their blocker cores this evening, and how they've used different strategies on each one. They've sped it up, they've slowed it down. You've got, I think, the Dead Ringers very just frustrated and trying to use star passes to help them out.
Yeah, it looked like that was sort of a strategy that they implemented probably about, well, even less than 5 minutes into the game. I think we saw at least 2 star passes, and they've been coming early and often, not really bearing the fruit that the Dead Ringers were hoping for, Tank.
I've never seen this many star passes in my entire life in one game. Like, this is crazy the amount of star passes we're seeing in this thing.
So we'll keep an eye on it and see if that's a Twin City trademark, or if that's something that's just indicative to this Dead Ringers team. But as of yet, not really bearing fruit that they were hoping for.
Folks, don't forget our final 2015 home game is coming up on May 30th versus Fort Wayne. You can always go to CincinnatiRollerGirls.com for more information.
All right.
It looks like we have a timeout coming from the Dead Ringers bench.
Jamiwaukee now just kind of dancing out there, hanging out, keeping loose. The referees talking things over. Interesting, this timeout taken, yet not a lot of talking happening.
Well, I'm trying to, I'm going back and forth in my mind. It's like, all right, timeout called. Was it a good timeout? Was it a not so good timeout? All right, so 6 seconds. What this could do on the best case scenario for Twin City. Jammer, help me out.
Twin City, the
Jamiwaukee?
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
The Dead Ringers?
It was just jumbled in my mouth there. Go up for a big score. This nearly triple-digit advantage that the Violent Lambs are experiencing right now, it could be narrowed significantly. However, you need to stop and play for a team that's got the mo.
Yeah.
And they got frankly, one of their best jammers out there in Ruthless Chris.
Yeah,
this might bite them.
Yeah, it's a questionable thought. I mean, I get you want in there a jam, get in there, but you're going against a lady with a hot hand right now. Maybe not so good for your team. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Absolutely. Hindsight, Dave, is always 20/20, and we'll see how this one plays out for both teams.
Jamiwaukee trying to work on the inside. Ruthless Chris goes to the outside. Now she's in the middle of the pack. We've got the Violent Lamb wall in the back. We've got a Dead Ringers wall up front. Ruthless Chris to the ground, has to come back and cycle through the pack. Good job by Genocide to try to slow down the blocker that blocked Ruthless Chris.
Oh, the Twin Cities blocking court does seem very, very attentive to the habits, particularly the pirouetting on the outside and inside habits of Ruthless Chris. They seem to tighten down on that a bit. They've knocked her out.
This pack getting really stretched out right now. As Jammerwalkie got knocked down and tiptoeing on the toe stops as Ruthless Chris, she's through.
That lead jammer stats brought to you by Quatman Cafe.
So with 1:15 left in this last jam of the first half, Hanny Tomico going down hard.
Star pass.
Yeah, boy.
I'm glad we're not doing a drinking game.
Well, see, you were afraid that the people would do the Star Wars references drinking game. At least they're not doing a Twin City Dead Ringers Star Pass drinking game, in which case halftime might be lights out for y'all.
And that is the half. Unofficially, Violent Lambs 154 to 58 of the Dead Ringers.
What we're seeing, gentlemen, is the Violent Lambs squad that is very confident and asserting their game plan on this Twin City Dead Ringers squad. And it starts at the blocking, and it finishes at the jamming, and it's good all points in between.
The Lambs are just doing what they've done all season right now, and that is play solid defense and let their jammers do their thing. And the thing with these jammers that the Lambs have, they don't really need a lot of help. They can go into 1-on-2, 1-on-3, even sometimes 1-on-4 situations and still come out ahead with perseverance.
You mentioned it. They're playing with confidence. They're skating out there with confidence, and they're doing everything they want to do out there, and it's going to lead to a big score like this.
Absolutely. So your halftime score, Violent Lambs 154, the Dead Ringers 58. We will see you in a few, folks, for the second half.
I didn't get any of those.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second half of this Cincinnati Violent Lambs versus Twin City Dead Ringers affair. This first event of this Star Wars bout that we have going on. And Dave, run through the numbers for me. You stats guru, you.
Oh, unfortunately, I actually was not able to get any of the stats whatsoever. Oh, hey, look at what just came right in front of me. I didn't even pay attention.
There's got to be a Star Wars reference there somewhere. Tank, come on. He's thinking. His eyes rolled back a little.
All right, so Ruthless Chris had 49. Our lead score for is Royalty at 79, followed by Hot Slice at 17. And then Hushbag is the lead jammer for the Dead Ringers. Penalty-wise, the only one we got to watch out for is our lead scorer herself. Royalty is at 4, as well as Hushbag for the Dead Ringers is at 4 as well.
And bear in mind, 3 of those came in one jam for Royalty. She seemed to be able to right the ship, and now she's your lead scorer.
Interesting, very interesting.
You got to love to see that adversity or success followed by adversity followed by success.
I'll tell you what else
It's the
is
American dream.
I'll tell you what else is interesting is I think there was more star passes in that first half than there was stormtroopers killed in the original trilogy. Like, it was just constantly star pass, star pass, star pass, star pass.
I appreciate that reference. I actually was talking to a few of the fans, and that was one thing that they were wondering is, does that happen with as much frequency? It's their first time here, and I was like, I've never seen it happen in a full night of Derby that many times.
I haven't seen it in a full season.
Yeah.
At some points.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, usually it's a rarity. I mean, and Marty, you and I were both talking about it earlier. You made the point. Usually it's like the jammer's completely gassed. She's just gotten beat up. She's gotten knocked down on the floor a lot. She's finally just kind of taps out and says, here, take this and go. Not the way Twin City's doing it. Twin City's having times where, like, they start the jam 2 seconds later. You see that thing getting passed over the heads of the pack players, and, the jammer's fine. She's just passing it off.
That's right. It's instead of being a last resort, it's a first option.
Yeah.
And it's not had a lot of success by and by. However, these Dead Ringers have put up some pretty sizable jams. Both all the action to the inside now. Dave, who do we got out there?
We got Jamiwaki out there for Dead Ringers, and we have VC out there for the Violent Lambs. And VC is trying to work her way on the inside, coming out of turn 2, and she's able to free herself and once again absorb the hits and get lead jammer status.
And the Covington native, Pauly Nader, holding off the inevitable as long as possible, doing a nice job there.
Jamiwaki's still stuck in the pack right now. Cincinnati's got pretty well. Walkie now trying to get out the front end, running into the back of Papa Chulo right there. Chulo trying to sit down and keep her in, has to let her go.
Anytime Nicole comes in from out of the box to try to free up her jammer and is able to get a few skaters off of VC, so she's able to get out.
And talking about blocking and blocking the way it should be done and being mindful of your surroundings, Papi Chulo is as clean as a bar of soap. She went an entire season without going to the box. She did go to the box, I believe, in the first game of the season. However, her she's a stranger to that penalty box, Tank.
Yeah, she has great body control out there. She knows where she's at. She knows where her opponent's at all time, and she does play a clean game on the up and up.
Her cleanest game is brought to you by the Skating Place.
Okay, number 312, Bobby Shots on the line for Twin Cities, and I believe that is Ruthless Chris. Yes, Ruthless Chris. She's working her way to the front on the outside, finds a little soft spot. She is your lead jammer, Tank.
Yeah. Chris now through. Cincinnati trying to reform on Bobby Shots now. Genocide's got inside lane locked down. Since the Psycho on the outside lane, and that thing is plugged up pretty tightly.
Cherry comes out of the box and is released and is going to try to get up there quick enough to help out her blockers.
Yeah, gives Ruthless Chris a little push through that pack, maybe a little. That's all she needed. Ruthless Chris so strong on the outside, through for 4 points, Tank.
That's right, and you saw right there that one of the blockers come up from Twin City trying to block into Chris. Chris had the angle, though, was lower, was able to eat that and just go right out the front.
Right, on the line now for the Twin Cities, we have Natty Slice, number 67, and Royalty, the leading point scorer of the evening thus far, number 533 for the Violent Lambs, Dave.
This jam is brought to you by Quality Printing and Design.
All right, the Stormtrooper's just staring me down now, and I'm getting a little uncomfortable, guys.
It is uncomfortable.
I also have to say this. He looks a little short to be a Stormtrooper.
Alton threw his royalty. T has impressed me in this game. Again, I go back to it. I just like what she can do. She's like a typewriter out there. Chop, 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 chop. Inside lane.
And while she was working on the inside, you had Big Ugly and Hot Slice working on Nanny Slice right there. You've also got Scunna hurt, and you've got Sister Shovechild. This is a blocking core that's just going to do some damage.
Ugly grabbed on the back of Scunna like an 18-wheeler trailer and wrecked herself into the Twin Cities Jammer.
Absolutely. They got a long way to go and a short time to get there, Tank. As I'm mixing movie references at this point, I hope you forgive me. Last line of defense needs to let Natty Slice go. So all eyes on Royalty at this point. Royalty, and she gets through for, looks like 3 points on that last scoring pass and calls it off before the Dead Ringers can do any damage.
I personally think that Burt Reynolds would have made an excellent Darth Vader, but that's just me.
You do know he was cast for that, right?
I was aware, yes.
Okay.
I'm sure he auditioned for Han Solo. Out there on the line, we have VC for the Lambs, and out there for Twin City, we've got Jamawaki, which I'm surprised one of us hasn't said Jamawookie yet.
Not yet. We're professionals.
Well, I think somebody has. Oh, goodness. All right. Distractions abound, boys, but we will persevere, as VC will persevere as well, working her way on the outside. Got a seam on the inside, softening up that blocking core little by little, and she's your lead jammer tank.
She is, and just again, I'm not sure how you stop this woman. Dave, can you venture a guess?
How do you stop VC? I just don't think you can. She goes to light speed, and she's gone. She's out of there. And what you're noticing on that back end right there, the blocking core, you had Cherry, you had Jillian, and you had Poppy. And right now you've got those three. Actually, I'm sorry, is that anatomical that's back there? Just recycling on the jammer right now.
I love this wide angle that we're taking, ICRC-TV. Oh, boy, we saw it right there. Almost a track cut incurred by Cherry Choke, but didn't quite happen. But, boy, that and Star Pass. This one looks like it's going to bear a little bit more fruit as number 117 for the Dead Ringers.
Just gave it off to Hooshbag right there.
Hooshbag, thank you.
And we saw it. It looked like she had an open space, and then that's Poppy just stopped her immediately, and Jillian was able to get up there and help delay her for a little bit.
Just love the way this pack works. They're so aware of their position on the floor, knows where their jammer is, obviously knows where the opposing jammer is because they're lockstep with her.
Are you saying that they can feel a disturbance in the Force when it happens?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Does that count as a Star Wars reference by me?
Yeah, chalk one up to you.
All right. I think I got 3 and counting.
Bobby shots, Ruthless Chris on the line. Bobby going inside, Ruthless going outside. Ruthless now going inside, outside, trying to find something to get through. 41 Brass Monkey all over her, though. And that's no pack getting called. That means Ruthless should. Nope, not going to be able to get out just yet. Has to step back in. 1 to beat.
Pollinator.
And lead jammer is called Ruthless Chris.
Once again, we saw the same tactic that we've been seeing a lot out of Ruthless Chris. Just stay on the inside, keep battling, and she's a physical enough of a skater. You're going to finally give in to the Force, give in to the dark side that is Ruthless Chris.
Beautiful offensive blocking build-up. We saw it coming from a mile away. It creates an inside seam. Ruthless Chris be able to get through all but one, calls off the jam.
And that was Genocide that gave that offensive block right there.
Lovely job by Genocide. You know, in that instance, gentlemen, the Star Pass, it's quick. Oh, before I pontificate, let's take a look at this replay tank.
Let's take a look at this thing right here. And you can see Ruthless getting hold back. Genocide just comes in out of nowhere. Boom! Destroys that wall, opens the lane up for Ruthless Chris, and that's all she needed.
Excellent replay brought to us by ICRC-TV.com, making all of this amazing production happen.
Genocide looked like a Y-wing coming in, dropping a bomb.
Or a B-wing.
Or a B-wing. B-wings are fast. Y-wings are the big ones that drop the bombs.
Well, wait, what? I think they both have bombs.
I think they do both have bombs.
To Google we go.
While we're arguing that, Royalty gets lead jammer status. Big Ugly pivot for the Violent Lambs to the box.
No pack called. Violent Lambs need to let the Twin City Dead Ringer jammer go. However, Royalty is through quickly for another 4 points. Looking quickly to Quad. Quad says, keep that thing going. We got a player in the box, and I want Big Ugly out before this thing comes to an end.
Cincinnati moving it right now. Natty Slice meeting up with Hot Slice. Slice on slice action right here.
Yeah, just like you wanted.
That's what I was asking for.
Quad gets his wish. Big Ugly is released out of the box. While Royalty is able to work her way to get 5 in the sky.
Absolutely. And do we have, yes, we do. We have another star pass. Equal to the task of the Violent Lambs. They do let her through. Royalty smashing her way through, gets past that green pack and calls off the jam. Boy, Royalty showing a lot of strength and finesse out there. Great job. Take a look at the replay. Dave, break it down.
All right, so in this last jam, it's Royalty going around and right when she just nicely jumped on the outside line. That left foot never really going out, and that's what was able to free her for lead jammer status.
Toes that line. A good look at the pivot there. Cherry Chug flanked by Poppy Chulo. Jillian Dollars and Genocide round off the blocking core. VC out from the outside, and she is your lead jammer tank.
This could be a big jam for Cincinnati, as this wall right now is just engulfing Jammer Walkie, and they have the inside lane control. So she just tried to go outside. They got a step on her. Gets crushed in a wave of violence right there. VC through 5.
This line for the Violent Lambs, they just do a great job of recycling back. As Poppy was delaying her, we had Cherry trying to bridge to keep that pack alive.
Let's look at this offensive blocking on display. They kind of create a seam to the outside. VC hits it and quits it. Beautifully tanked.
This line just buys their jammer time constantly. It's amazing what you can do when you have a team that's forming walls, that's slowing the game down for you and letting you get through the pack.
All right, Dave, so 2:15 for the Violent Lambs, 61 points for the Dead Ringers as we have about 20 minutes left in this affair.
And remarkably, we've only seen Hot Slice jam once this evening, and Sister Shuffchild hasn't jammed at all. So we've had 2 jammers blocking for a lot of the evening, and you've seen some new suspects working it as Ruthless Chris is working her way on the outside. Fortunately, she is right behind. Is that jammer lock?
Bobby shots. Bobby opened it up, and inside lane goes Ruthless Chris.
And that's the most painful call off of all, when you get passed by the opposing jammer and you need to call it off because you know she's going to score points before you. Quad Almighty loving it. Absolutely loving it.
He actually threw his hands up in the air while she was throwing her hands to the hips.
And I think what we're seeing, guys, is an audition tape here. VC.
And you know, right now, I mean, that jammer lineup for the Sheep there's openings on it. You know,
that's right.
There's a spot to be if she can work her way up to it.
And this jammer right here, Royalty, despite the fact not playing in a lot of games prior to this, she's been making waves as she gets lead jammer very quickly and efficiently. These two, I think, have a lot of Quad has a lot of confidence in the skill and acumen and smarts and just athleticism of these two, and I think he wants to see which of these are most ready for the next level.
Well, I think Royalty's got some ability there, but I don't think she's ready for the big dance just yet. You know,
I do. You know, from my observations, I do think VC is the one that's most primed to make that jump to the next level. Dave, what do you think?
I definitely agree with what you just said. One thing I wanted to point out there, right there in that last jam, Annie Tomical's having a great night on the line. She's doing a lot of offensive blocking, and right there towards the end of that jam, she was able to hit another skater for the Dead Ringers, and she's had a nice bout this evening.
Jam Milwaukee on the line going up against VC. And Cincinnati is able to get the back wall again. Now this is weird, guys, because right now every time the Dead Ringers they should be the ones getting the back line because they're closer to the jammer line than the Lambs are.
Absolutely. Whenever I was coaching, I always wanted on the second half to be the closest to the jamming line, just so you could be out there first It's a nice job by Cherry Choke knocking the Twin City Jammer into the outside, making her reset. Although Cherry is going to the box there. I don't see the call specifically, but VC nonetheless is the lead jammer, Dave.
Yeah, VC, they had to finally just call off the pack right there and let her go. And it's one thing that we're used to seeing this evening is VC have lead jammer status and just work her way through the pack pretty effortlessly, I might add.
Oh, nice job by Jillian Dollars knocking the Twin City Jammer to the inside before she's able to break through. This allows VC a little more time to come through on her scoring pass. Gets knocked on that second straightaway tank, but is up quickly. She's got one to beat, and she's through.
Just does not even move right there. She gets popped and just rolls with it, and she's through.
The teamwork of the Violent Lambs in the back right now on their jammer is just amazing. Poppy has been cycling around, Slice has been cycling around, as well as Jillian. Really nice to watch them all work together and delay her, and she's frustrated as she skates back through them.
You got a lot of veterans on that blocking core for the Violent Lambs. Jillian, although relatively new skater, I believe this is her second year. However, she has a lot of smarts and knows this game, has figured this game out very quickly, Dave.
Very much so, yes. And once again, we're going to see another star pass by the Dead Ringers. Star pass goes to Lisa Hatchett.
Hatchet again putting the star back on. Track cut being now assessed to number 28 for the Dead Ringers. That's going to be Nikita.
Let's take a look at the replay because I got a hunch it's going to be a doozy.
All right, so this is VC coming into the turn number 3. And the blocker, the one that should have been doing the damage, Betty Rocker, is the one that actually suffered the worst of that hit.
And this, Dave, Marty, go back to your point about the idea of VC going to the next level. I think that's why she is ready for that next level, because she's able, right, on this level, she's able to eat those hits, doesn't even slow her stride. So if she can do that on this level, can she make that happen on the A level?
There's only one way to find out.
Put her up there.
Opportunity knocks, and she's been knocking hard all year long.
Yep.
Let's take a look at the replay schedule, gentlemen. And you guys have been doing most of the heavy lifting, so I'm going to do this one for you. Sunday, the 10th, 5 p.m., Time Warner Cable 24. Monday, the 11th, 8:30 p.m., Time Warner Cable number 4, Cincinnati Bell 8:34. Wednesday, the 13th of May, 10 p.m., 24 on TWC. Thursday, the 14th, 10 a.m., TWC Channel 8, Cincinnati Bell 8:38. Friday, the 15th, 10 p.m., Time Warner Cable 8 and 8:48 on Cincinnati Bell. Of course, you can always catch this action on ICRC-TV.com. That's how I catch it.
Bobby shots, Ruthless Chris at it again.
Pretty much both boxes were full right there, so only 2 blocking cores had 2 blockers out there. Genocide did a nice hit on Bobby Shots, has to make her cycle back through.
You know, Dave, and that's been a bit of an anomaly through this game, that it's been a relatively clean game. There hasn't been a whole lot of fill-up in the penalty box here and there, but by and by, both teams have seemed to keep themselves out of penalty trouble.
And if there's been penalties, they seem to have been like penalty equal as well. Like both teams have a skater go into the box, or there hasn't been one where you just see someone out there by themselves at a disadvantage.
Well, I think what's helped the Lambs in this is they're able just to form walls and just sit on them. And therefore, when you're able to do that, you're not really putting yourself into a position to really occur those penalties. Maybe a multiplayer if you get busted for that. But other than that, really not too much danger in getting into penalty trouble when you're just sitting on top of jammers.
And as we said, this is a very strong team by the Violent Lambs. We've got Ruthless Chris. We've got
Natty Slice making short work of that Cincinnati pack, finding a giant seam to the inside, capitalizes. Oh boy, big hit absorbed by Ellie Stabber. Going to the box is that would be Polly Nader. Yes, the Covington native laying the big blow, but illegally so, Tank.
Royalty swooping back around right now, looking inside. Now going outside because Skuna opened the lane up for her.
As I was saying before about this Lambs, you've got Shovchild, you've got I Karamba, you've got Ruthless Chris, you've got Big Ugly. All of them have spent time on the Sheep roster, and they're playing with the Lambs tonight, and they're playing with the utmost confidence as they're out there skating.
Absolutely, Dave. And you know, I'm just kind of breezing through this lineup, taking a quick look, and I'm asking myself, who can't jam? No one. They all can do it. You know, some might be a little less accustomed to it than others, but all of these people, all these skaters are able to don the star panty and make some noise happen.
Good wall right there by Cincy Psycho and Sister Shovechild. Shove gets past, though. That's going to give lead jammer to number 41, Brass Monkey.
Boy, it looks like Polly Nader is not getting any rest out there at all. She is certainly their best blocker for the Dead Ringers, in my opinion. And she is finding a home there on the Cincinnati Gardens track, Dave.
Yeah, and we're noticing that strategy of if we have not been getting lead jammer stats for the Lambs, what they've been doing is they've been speeding the pack up and letting their fast jammers catch up to their jammer and force them to call off before they can get points.
And that's got to be frustrating for this Dead Ringers team because you get something positive going and you get lead jammer, and now you're like, yes, we can get some points, get something happening here, and then the athletic speed of the Lambs negates that.
It seems from Jump Street, gentlemen, that the Violent Lambs have been enforcing their will on this Twin Cities Dead Ringers team, and the score would certainly indicate that.
This jam brought to you by La Teresa and Littlefields.
And Ruthless Chris wasting no time getting lead jammer on the second apex. Has a green wall to deal with. Does knock her outside a bit. Looks like there's, oh, hey, Tank, there's another star pass.
Whew. I am so glad I left my bottle of tequila at home tonight.
I think we all are, Tank. I think we all are.
Ruthless Chris, though, now trying to fight her way through. Hooshbag doing some good stuff at the front end there, trying to open the front door for her players, trying to beat that wall. Cincinnati's back, and now she's through, and now she's getting herself out. But no, wait, Hot Slice with her, and Hooshbag going to don that star here momentarily, and here comes Ruthless Chris.
Looks like Chris is looking to just maybe pass her hips. If not, go ahead and call it off before any damage done.
Well, Hooshbag trying to hold her back, and there it is.
Taking the line for the Violent Lambs, we got Big Ugly, I Caramba, Sister Shovechild, and Cincy Psycho. And for the first time tonight, Annie Tomic is going to be taking the star. Nettie Slice is going to be out there for the Dead Ringers.
And with about 11 and a half minutes left in this game, we'll see if Quad goes a little deeper in his bench in terms of jamming core, as I mentioned before. He could just throw it behind him blindly, and whoever picks up that star panty is going to be able to come up to the task.
Anatomical with the old end around right there, started in the middle, then went to the inside, got cut off. Now back to the outside, restarting here.
As that jam started, both jammers tried to go to the inside as Anatomical gets the lead jammer stats, and both initially felt the sting of the other blocking core.
Oh, stand up on her feet right there is Natty Slice. Good job, but she found the inside lane open. But now back to it is Anatomical. Tomical got one to beat on the front and does.
Calls off quickly, and Marty, you were very astute earlier when you're looking at the roster, and you're like, all of them can jam.
They can, and that's an absolute wonderful luxury for a coach to have. And Quad is giving some encouragement to Annie, saying good job out there, and throwing it out to, well, Royalty is going to be jamming now, who's no stranger to the jammer panty this evening.
Folks, don't forget our final home game is May 30th versus Fort Wayne. You can always find more information at CincinnatiRollerGirls.com. Like us on Facebook, Cincinnati Roller Girls. Follow us on Twitter at Cincy Roller Girl, as well as Instagram at Cincy Roller Girls. That information should be coming up on your screen right now.
Dave, let me take this for you, buddy. If you want to learn more information about the Cincinnati Roller Girls, check out CincinnatiRollerGirls.com. Facebook is what you do. That's no problem. Facebook.com/Cincinnati Roller Girls. And on Twitter, at Cincinnati Roller Girls, hashtag, this is a different language for me, boys, so I'm having trouble with this, hashtag Cincinnati Star Wars Night. And there you have it. You are social media'd.
I don't think that's the way that works, Marty.
No, that's it. That's it.
He just made it a verb. He just made it a verb.
Guys, I nailed it.
Jamiwaki out there on the line for the Dead Ringers. Royalty out there for the Violent Lambs.
Slice is saying, nope, outside lane's closed for business, can't come out that way. Inside lane goes Hushbag.
My goodness gracious me. Royalty finding just a smidgen of space on the outside, pirouetting through, getting lead jammer. Now she's coming through for a scoring pass tank.
Her bandit handkerchief just sailing in the wind as she goes by. I never understood why players wear those.
So announcers can be like, can recognize them a little easier, I guess.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's helped for me.
Speaking of someone we're going to recognize, taking the Jammer Star for the Violent Lambs is Skunahurt. Skunahurt, the first Cincinnati junior roller girl to get the promotion and come up and be rostered with the Violent Lambs.
And the first of many down the line, I'm sure.
Oh, I'd agree with that.
But she is a trailblazer. She's asserting herself so nicely in that blocking rotation for the Violent Lambs. Takes a tumble there. Boy, looks like no penalty assessed for anyone. Scunna quickly up. She's getting beaten a bit on the outside, but she is so tough, Tank, and she is your lead jammer.
To be young again, where you can fall down on concrete, it doesn't really hurt that much. You just pop back up and get lead.
Amen.
And look at this blocking core out there. We've got Cincy Psycho, we've got Jillian Dollars. We've also got VC out there with ICRC, and they are giving Bobby shots just all sorts of heck on that back line.
We might see some jammer on jammer here, as Scunna likes hitting people.
Oh, yeah. She hits and gets that extra point, and now there's a wall of green. Looks like she's going to maybe do a little something, call it quickly, or not so quickly as it happens.
Quad is over there at the bench trying to ask her to call off.
Scunna was up on one skate right there, went down. Looks like Bobby took a shot right there to the, maybe to the face, kind of clutching her jaw as she went down there. Up.
She's back up there. It's one thing you love about how tough these athletes are. She definitely took a hit right there. Got her bell rung a little bit, but she's able to skate off. Out there for the Violent Lambs is Genocide, and coming out there, Natty Slice for the Dead Ringers.
This is going to hurt. Rounding that last apex with a big smile on her face. You know she loves having that jammer roll, and she embraces it. And again, I've said this in previous games that I love the way they're kind of working her in, and they're not leaning on her in terms of a jammer. They don't need to. They want to develop her into a complete player, and that's exactly what they're doing, Tank.
Well, if you thought you saw Smash and Bash with Skunahurt, let me allow you to introduce you to Genocide as a jammer.
Sometimes you gotta let the Wookiee win.
Yeah, no doubt. That is a train I would not want to get in the tracks in front of.
Genocide has been known to rip the arms off when she doesn't get their way.
I would agree with that. She got knocked out there, but Hushbag now going to have to come back in. Hush going to back that way up.
I also feel like for the last 8 minutes of this bout, we are probably going to see a rotating jammer status for the Violent Lambs.
Genocide again, just brute force getting through.
Dipping that shoulder, finding that leverage, making short work. Oh, yeah. And, anatomical going to the box. I think they're calling it for a high block.
And it's already full right now because we have Hot Slice and VC in there already, so Anatomical's
Poppy
taking a
Chula
lap
1
around.
on 4 still gets it done.
It compels that jammer to come all the way back. Great ISO blocking by Poppy Chulo.
Chulo buying her teammates time in the box. That gets Annie back out. Annie got to go back to the box, though.
VC the next to come out of the box, Dave.
Yes, she's coming out, and Hot Slice is right behind her, so we're finally back to practically full strength with Anatomical in the box still.
Genocide taking her time now.
So with 7 minutes remaining, Cincinnati loves this fast pace. They just kind of want to, they know that time is their best friend, Tank, and they are going to use as much as they can at this point.
Natty Slice Genocide, and that just 8 clock right there, and the jam is over.
Genocide pretty much was just delaying their jammer right there and just let that jam go to its natural conclusion. Coming out there for the Violent Lambs is Ruthless Chris. Looks like Jamilowaukee back out there for the Dead Ringers.
The Violent Lambs are just putting on a really high IQ derby clinic out there. They're slow when they need to be. They're fast when they need to be. They're aggressive when they need to be. They're passive when they need to be. They are so aware of the situation around them and doing the things that benefit them the most. It's a beautiful thing to see.
And this has me questioning how far apart is the top players on the Lambs and the people that are on the Sheep that are in those bench spots right now, that they're in like that 12, 13, 14. I mean, how hard is it to cast these rosters at this point for these two teams?
I think it's excruciatingly difficult because I think that like you said, between the top of the Lambs and the bottom of the Sheep, it's narrow thin, and we're seeing a lot of movement back and forth, trying to see which players fit, because it's not all about physical acumen. It's about mentality and teamwork and everything, and there's just a lot of things that just don't show up on the scorecard, Dave, that make a team great. And I think Quad's just trying to find those components and figure out the best way going in, finishing this home season and going towards the road season and hopefully towards the tournament season, to fine-tune that to the point where he's got his best 14 out there.
Yeah, we've got Sister Shutchild and CC Psycho working on Jamilowaukee right there, and she gets lead jammer stats. One thing you're noticing, the untangibles that you're talking about, is one thing this team is doing is, yes, with their IQ this evening, how fast they're doing everything. There's no hesitation, and it's definitely coming from the confidence of playing with each other, realizing they're probably maybe the stronger team right now on the track, and they are not hesitating whatsoever. Cherry Choke, another person that's going to be jamming for the Violent Lambs.
Guys, is it me or did it get brighter in here all of a sudden?
It did. They decided to turn a couple lights on.
It's like the twin sons of Tatooine are just blaring down on us right now. It's so bright in here.
I just hope I don't end up like Uncle Owen.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah.
When it's right, when things go wrong.
All right.
One thing we also noticed during that last time out was Pollinator was out there, and we were talking about how she was a local that has moved away. And a lot of the Violent Lambs are out there giving her a hug and enjoying themselves with her talking. And that's a great thing to see as well.
Coming back out again to say hello. And high fives are given. Cherry Choke Jam going to happen, it would appear.
Indeed, on the line, blocking-wise for the Violent Lambs, would be Anatomical. It would be Jillian Dollars. Looks like Scunna Hurt. And Royal T, the leading scoring blocker, jammer, is trying her hand at blocking now. And Cherry will be matching Wits and Braun versus Brass Monkey.
And Tank, you brought it up before, and again, yes, they have the closer bench, but they let the Violent Lambs go out there and take the back line and didn't even try to get out there fast.
Well, this is going to be a learning experience for the Dead Ringers. That you just have to learn that if you have that advantage, you got to take it. Take all the advantages you can.
Boy, both jammers mimicking each other inside, outside, middle, out, and it looks like lead jammer goes to. Oh,
Brass Monkey, Cherry
right.
Choke though.
Exactly.
Cherry's going to pop out ahead. Cherry wanted to put on a little show for the fans right there, and that jam's going to be called.
Cherry shakes her head a little bit. Was hoping to make a little points happen, but happy that she was able to bust out and compel the opposing jammer to call that one off, Tank.
That is correct. Bobby Shots back on the line against VC. These two are quite familiar with each other at this point.
Absolutely.
Now, what's been happening with VC a lot is she fakes to the inside and then just bounces right to the outside. See if she does that again.
Almost on cue, Dave. You astute devil, you. She does just that. However, she finds a little seam on the inside, and she pops through. She's your lead jammer, Tank.
That's right. And now we look to the defense here at Cincinnati as they try to wall up here, trying to stop everything. You can see the Dead Ringers dropping back to take on VC once more. 4-on-1, now 3-on-1 for VC. Now 2-on-1 for VC. This is what I'm talking about, guys.
It's just the shove child being a field general out there, knocking her out, letting her teammates know where they need to be, and she's drifting back. Lovely job.
A great moment during that jam is you saw all 4 of them on there, and then 3 of them making contact with the jammer right there, and then Scunna is just telling them exactly where to go and pushing them to where they need to be, and it was just a slow burn of death right there.
And you love seeing a young skater like Scunna assert herself into a leadership capacity, if, maybe within just that one pack, but it all starts somewhere, and the confidence builds, and it's a good sign. Quickly through. Tank, who's that?
That's Genocide.
Boy, Genocide. And her limited opportunities as jammer has been tearing it up.
Well, and it's not one of these things where it's taking her forever to get lead. It's like she's doing it. By the time she hits the first, second corner, she's got lead.
Looks like number 9, Farrah Fist, going to the box for the Dead Ringers, and Big Ugly for the Violent Lambs.
Genocide taking a quick look to the sideline, seeing if Quad Almighty wants her called off. Says no, because Ruthless Chris is going to just wreak havoc in turn 4, and that's exactly what happened. However, real quickly, I really like this Natty Slice. She's tearing it up.
Yeah, no quitting her.
And again, the clock is the friend to the Violent Lambs. Less than 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this affair.
Oh.
So.
Wow, Ruthless Chris just stood her straight up right there, skating backwards. I'm not even sure how much of Chris put her body into that, just kind of standing there. It's like taking the charge in basketball, but it put Natty Slice down.
Exactly, and Icaramba was there to help stabilize Ruthless Chris right there. Great teamwork.
Beautiful tandem block there.
And that's one thing that you've noticed this year as compared to last year is the tandem blocking that the Violent Lambs and the Black Sheep have been doing. And tonight's just been a clinic by the Violent Lambs.
Well, Royalty has been contained on the inside, now tries to go outside as this 4-1 wall is putting her back in. At the same time, though, the same thing can be said on the front end as the Lambs create a large wall to contend with.
Jam Milwaukee having serious issues getting knocked to the outside. The crowd, an audible as she gets knocked to the outside. In the meantime, boy, both packs are doing a very nice job. Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Whoa. That was absolutely gorgeous. Royalty, a little pirouette on the outside, Dave, getting lead jammer.
Star pass again. Shove tries to come up, can't do it, it's got to go back.
Much like Anakin Skywalker, Royalty's a pretty good pilot out there, able to work through a lot of the pack. Working her way up was number 41, Brass Monkey, as the jam comes to an end.
All right, let's take a look at the replay, and why don't you break it down for me, Tank?
Let's see what we got here. Royalty facing a 4-1 wall, goes outside, gets sideways, spin move again through. Her and Ruthless Chris both had this really good job of getting those toes pointed out sideways at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then splitting through and hitting that spin. It's nice.
You think they work on that in practice?
I believe they would be.
Oh, yeah. VC on the line, presumably for the last jam. Holly Steamroller on the line for the Dead Ringers. And it looks like VC will be going to the box on a track cut. Tank.
She didn't even look back at the ref. She knew she did it. She immediately heard that when she stepped out, she heard the whistle, and she immediately just took off for the box. She knew she was in the wrong there, and she's going to serve her time.
And rightfully so.
One thing we've also noticed from the blockers of the Violent Lambs is everyone's taken the role of doing something different. Either they've been bridging, or they've been cycling through with their blocks, or they've been pulling a pyramid or a tandem blocking core together.
Genocide.
Yes. And they are not fooled by the star pass whatsoever. Holly Steamroller handing it off to number, 147
That's
there.
Hushbag.
Oh, I'm sorry, 47. That's, yes. And, M7, excuse me, Hushbag.
Yeah.
And so Hushbag is through, but, and you got to wonder, the Black Sheep are watching this game. They're about ready to hit the floor. And they got to be wondering in the back of their head, Tank, are we going to see a lot of these star passes coming from this Twin City team, or is this something that is something exclusive to the Dead Ringers?
Well, and
it remains to be seen.
The other thing we haven't seen on this level, too, we haven't seen a lot of that triangle defense that a lot of people are employing now. with those walls, and I'm wondering, will we see that on the A-team level tonight? You know that the Sheep are going to do it. My question is, are the Evil Twins going to do it?
So a lot remains to be seen. However, most things have been seen in this one as the second half has come to its natural conclusion. It's all up to Hushbag to call this thing off, or it could go another 7, 6, 5 or so seconds. But the end result, gentlemen, is a big victory for the Violent Lambs.
Yep. This one was never in doubt.
Well, gentlemen, we saw a lot this evening. We saw a confident Violent Lambs team. And we saw a scrappy Twin City Dead Ringers team with some outstanding individual talent, but it just wasn't enough to match the team play, the cohesion that the Violent Lambs brought to the table this evening.
Yeah, the Lambs right now are playing on a level where they are not making mistakes, and they are capitalizing on the other team's mistakes, and that's what enabled this big victory to happen tonight for the Lambs.
We pretty much saw it all evening, but right at the end of that last jam, in turn 4 here, we had 3 of the blockers for the Violent Lambs containing her, as VC just came through unscathed by her skeleton score on her pass.
It's never fun to lose a game, especially by a large margin, but I would have to think that for the Dead Ringers, there's going to be a lot of lessons learned coming out of this game. It's going to make them a better team, down the road.
Absolutely. So nice bit of teamwork there, or sportsmanship, I should say, by the Twin City Dead Ringers, kind of forming a little gate for the victors to pass through. It's nice to see. A lot of smiles on the floor, Dave.
A lot of smiles on the floor, and we're going to get ready for the Black Sheep game. One thing, Tank, you mentioned her early. Natty Slice had a lot of fight in her, and she really fought well. Jamiwaki was out there. She was just getting held in the back of the line, but she never quit as well. Liked a lot of what we saw out of her this evening.
I really liked Hushbag a lot. I felt like that she was the player they turned to whenever they needed anything. If they needed a wall, if they needed a block, if they needed somebody to pass the star to, whatever. Hushbag was always the, hey, give me some help, and she would always answer the call.
And my dead ringer of the evening is definitely going to be Polly Nader. I mean, she did some amazing isolation blocks. She did everything she could, and without her presence out there, I think this would be a much more lopsided victory for the Violent Lambs. And let's talk about the Violent Lambs, because they are the home team after all. We're seeing VC, and we're seeing the emergence of royalty. And I think that is the most compelling storyline of the evening. Yes, Ruthless Chris was outstanding. Yes, the typical jammers did very well as blockers, and the typical blockers did very well as blockers as well, because you can't teach that experience that's Papi Chulo and Cherry Choke, and I said it before, despite the fact this is only her second season with Cincinnati, Jillian Dollars is playing at such a smart, high IQ level. I mean, the sky's the limit for a lot of these skaters, and it's just it's a lot of fun to watch.
I'm agreeing with a lot of things you're saying there. Dave, you pick it up, and we'll have a conversation about it.
Yeah, pretty much. You saw why everyone has been very excited to see Royalty finally get rostered out there this evening. And she has very similar qualities to Ruthless Chris and a few of the other very athletic jammers out there. VC, we raved about her last bout. We're going to keep raving about her. It's one of those times maybe she gets the call to the big show pretty soon. She's definitely putting in her audition tape out there. And then, again, just seeing all of the blockers do what they needed to do situationally wise.
Yeah.
Not just go out there for themselves and do what they think they can do to make themselves look good. What, as a team, they do really well. And they're better than the sum of their parts.
Absolutely. And before I throw it to you, Tank, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention Annie Tomical, throwing her weight out there, doing some amazing, particularly on the offensive side of things. And what this sport, I think, is in dire need of is offensive blocking, and Annie brought it time and time again this evening.
I totally agree. Guys, I think right now this team is just a perfect storm of personalities and body types that work really well together, and they're able to adapt to multiple games. I would really like to see this team go play in a B-team tournament right now. I think they could hold their own against pretty much any B team in the country right now. There's a few out there that I think they'd have trouble with, specifically like Texas, who a lot of their A team talent is now on their B team. I don't know if they could win that game. But on the whole, I think this team stacks up damn well against anybody.
One would agree. Dave, any final thoughts?
I'm looking forward to another great bout coming up with the Black Sheep. And once again, I want to see the Violent Lambs come back and fulfill that perfect season.
Absolutely. And one way to do that is come down here to the Cincinnati Gardens for the last home game of the season. It's May 30th. To take in the sounds, the sights, and yes, the smells of the Cincinnati Gardens. You only have to do it. You can only do it, I should say, by coming down here and checking it out in person. We love having you watch us on ICRC-TV, and we want to thank everybody for doing so. We want to thank ICRC-TV for bringing this to you. We want to thank Tom and Chi for making the live stream possible. But nothing replicates the live experience, and you have one more chance to do it, folks, May 30th. Anywho, signing off for the evening, gentlemen. Violent Lambs 298, Dead Ringers 91. Have yourself a great evening.